Yo, Crypto Nation and mining family, what's going on? What's going on? What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? What's going on, all you happy hashers out there? Yeah, sorry about the little bit of being late, everybody. I'm dealing with some tax issues going on with the company. Yeah. First time I do the taxes with the company, and nothing but issues that I'm trying to now straighten out in some fashion. So yeah, I have no idea what's going on or anything like that with the company. But IRS says I owe just under $3,000 to them now. Because of Montezuma. Guys, don't use Montezuma for your tax stuff at all. These people are not equipped to be dealing with crypto at all. We'll just say it like that. I think that's what their issue is. So, with that being said, everybody, he's I'm in the middle of chatting with these people. I know it's the end of their day. Somebody had told me yesterday that they were going to have one of their people call me, and now it's the end of the day, and I'm like, oh man, they never got a hold of me. I've been kind of doing this, that, and the other. Yeah, so not sure what I'm trying to get some forms off of them so that I can submit that, because I see that's what it's dinging me on. So, yo. And I didn't even grab anything to drink. Oh, wow. Guys, give me 1 second here. I need to grab something to drink. Because I've been dealing with these people. I need to get something to drink. Hold on. Oh, this is because Montezuma did not file my taxes last year. They did not do their... I gave them all the information that I had, and they didn't do their job. So they basically absolutely dropped the ball, and I'm expecting, if there's any penalty, these motherfuckers should be paying. Sorry for swearing and stuff. I'm trying to keep my stuff a little clean here, but good God, this pisses me off. So now we're waiting for the supervisor tax pro to respond. Hold on, let me get. Where do I Oh my gosh, these people are like absolutely sorry people. Where do I upload it to? I have no problem. It'll just take me a moment here. Hold on, people. Sorry. I do apologize for this. I wasn't expecting them to ask me for this information right here, right now. It's like, what taxes? Yeah. I know, exactly. Let's see here. See how easy I can do this. I'm gonna try to do this while streaming, I guess. All right, cool. Here we go. Sorry about that, guys. I'm like dealing with that. I was not expecting all of that. Sorry. I know. You probably all hate me now because you're all sitting here watching me get all pissed off at these people. If I didn't laugh, I'd cry. All right, they've got what they need. Yo, what up, the goblin? Dude. So, yep. Because this is a business, guys, I have to stay compliant with governments. The governments extort businesses a little bit more than they extort the regular people. So there's that. Because it's a registered legal business, I have to do things as a registered legal business. Anyone hear about the 10-year-old, two 10-year-olds we're going to? No, never. All This is an issue caused by them. Montezuma, you are horrible. Horrible company. I will be looking for a new company. Somebody's getting on it with their bike. All right. Why shouldn't you write it? Sounds like an equity in action. Yo, so all right, now I can get back onto this. I'm just asking him if I'm gonna get a call today or tomorrow. So let's go ahead and dive into this. Let's dive right into the topic. Would you guys steal a 9-year-old GPU? Maxwell Edition NVIDIA? Bro, Maxwell was not one of NVIDIA's good prime days. So, what do you call a hacker with no fingers? I'm afraid to ask, bro. I really am, Rude. What? No, it's not quiet. I'm just dealing with tax stuff in my country. The government's extorting me, and they're. All right. All right, now I can focus in here, guys. Now I can focus here. Done with that. I'll have a supervisor calling me tomorrow because they dropped the ball bad, and they're on the hook for $3,000. Not me. This is dumb. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So let's go ahead and dive in. Would you guys actually steal? These are the old NVIDIA Quattro K2200 series. You can find these bad boys used for like about $160 a pop. So they found 70 video cards amongst 280 kilograms of live or lobsters, and each kilogram is about $30 USD. Which, you know, they basically estimated everything at $76,000 USD. So these are probably brand new GPUs that were stolen. But it's a smuggling attempt that we've been hearing more and more about, where China seems to be like smuggling GPUs internally. GPUs. We've seen hard drives that were smuggled in that scooter a few months ago, something like that. That it was like the whole neck of an electric scooter was filled with NVMe M.2 SSD, something like that. Just a whole stack of those things. It's like, what are they doing? It's all manufactured right there. How expensive? I mean, like, unless they're just trying to get it for free and then they're trying to go on the resale market with it. But this one's like kind of a weird one because it's like 70 old GPUs. They're a 9-year-old GPU at this point. And it's like, why? And you can see how they had, like, if I saw this, well, let me see if I get it. Yep, there we go. If I'm like Customs and I see this vehicle drive out in front of me and I have to inspect it, bro, I'm gonna think you got drugs in there, dude. I mean, I understand that everything in China gets plastic wrapped before shipping because they're trying to keep the moisture out of the packaging as they ship it. But they have a manifesto for lobsters, and on the left here is not lobsters. On the right is lobsters. There's the lobsters. I mean, that part was real. But then it's got GPUs there. That all looks, I mean, if I was Customs, I'd be like, sir, step out of your vehicle. You have drugs. And then they find all of this all stashed in there. And they're finding more and more through these checkpoints of GPUs and other computer hardware, hundreds of thousands of dollars being caught crossing borders. It's like it's like meth heads will steal anything. It's like, yeah, you sir have drugs. Exactly, dude. I mean, if this was America, you'd be like, that's drugs. You're coming from Mexico, aren't you? That's all drugs. But no. It's like, imagine going to jail for this, and you're like, what you in for? Smuggling computer parts? Oh wow, 4090s? Nah, K2200s. The hell is those? It's a Quattro from like 9 years ago. Please get that. You know what I'm saying? Smash them likes for GPU Jesus. That is right, guys. That is right. Smash that Lizzie like button. Yo. There's never enough likes smashed in these. It's like Kepler architecture. No, Maxwell. We have Maxwell here. I think Kepler was right after that. I forget the naming on all this stuff, but this is all Maxwell stuff. Yeah, and then we had what was it? Last year there was somebody that tried to smuggle in 160 CPU processors that he taped to his body. That's a good one. You're like, no, I'm just driving by myself. What are you talking about? It's like got busted for stealing for a truck full of Elvis 8 tracks. Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, yeah. So yeah, been very, very interesting for sure. Seeing that they've actually gotten to a point where they're smuggling stuff within China and they're getting busted for it. I don't get it, but it is what it is, right? And we have the Radeon 7600 and the 4060 Ti models from Gigabyte being revealed. And I think this says a lot. Whenever you look at the product stack list kind of like this, and you're like, wow. So for the Radeon 7600 8GB, you get two flavors. You get a gaming and a gaming OC. That's it. For the 4060 Ti, you get the Aurorus Extreme, the Aero OC Aero, Gaming OC Gaming, Eagle OC, Eagle, WindForce, and the WindForce OC. So you get basically what here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different product stacks with a low power and a high power variation. Because it's basically different tiers of that die set. It's like they are very much heavy on making sure that they've got enough enough VGA cores for all of these GPUs. So I wonder what their minimum buy order is, and the reason that they tier it like this, where AMD, you either have high tier or low tier. It's kind of funny to think about it like that, where you've only got a couple of tiers with the AMD side of it. And I think that's why it always looks like there's more availability on the NVIDIA side, or they got more partner models. The partner models still have the same amount of VGA core chips to distribute out to all the different areas, laptops and all their GPUs and stuff like that, right? Where they might be doing a smaller batch of AMD because it's not one of the most hottest products to be grabbing, especially right now. The market has slowed down for the consumption of GPUs overall. And AMD's product sales have taken a dramatic hit. And that's some of the reasons why you've been seeing a lot of the AMD stuff being a little bit on the lower side, is that if they can drop the price down to that sweet spot, people will start buying again. And this is true with any market, as long as you've got a good product that people do want. As soon as you drop that price to the right level, you'll have consumption. And as AMD starts dropping their prices down and they start finding the level of where they can find people to buy, you will find that it'll start stealing from NVIDIA. And NVIDIA will in turn start dropping their product stacks down too, because of the fact that people are going to be like, well, I can give up the ray tracing as long as I've got a good card that can still keep up with my monitor and keep up with all the modern games. And looking at it from the from the NVIDIA side of things, if you're looking at that 4060, it's not a very good value proposition, really. I mean, considering the 4060, it has less CUDA cores than the 3060, so it's a little bit more cut down on the die set. You're still looking at a 4060 at 8 gigabytes versus a 3060 at 12 gigabytes, but I can give them a little cut on this one because the 3060 Ti only had 8 gigabytes. So for them to have your mid to low tier with an availability of 8 gigabytes of VRAM on there, I'm fine with that. That aspect, I'm not gonna cry over that. They took away 4 gigabytes off of the 4060 versus the 3060. I can forgive that. The next part is where it's like you just handicap the card with 128-bit bus width on the memory bus. That's less bit rate. We got memory bandwidth that is less memory bandwidth. We got 288 gigabytes per second versus 360 gigabytes per second on a 3060. So the only thing you are getting extra is the third gen ray tracing cores. That is it. So it's got the upgraded shader built into it. So video game wise, it'll be the world's smallest little nominal difference. You are looking at maybe a shadow popping a little bit better than it was on the 3060. I'm not going to sit there and say that has value proposition to me in any way, shape, or form. We're cut down on the cores, so it's a lateral movement. So anybody that's already in the 30 series GPUs on their gaming rig, you see no value in this. I mean, I've got a 3080 Ti in here. I see no value proposition going up into the higher tier. Not for the extra amount of money. Rude. I was wondering when somebody was going to be asking me about that, my dude. Thank you for asking me about that. So he's like, when workout streams, everybody likes to hang out in the morning while you're at work or getting ready, motivated for your day. For Rude here, it's his commute home. He gets to hang out with me in the morning while I'm working out. While he's ending his day, I'm just getting started. So I was figuring I'm going to be getting back into the swing of things on that on Monday. It's like day one, restart. Check. Aye, aye, Captain. uh, he's like, okay. Um, Patrick, partners used to be able to do some super cool stuff. Not as much now. That is true. And it sucks that we lost one of the OG titans of the GPU space, EVGA. He's like, I still want a rig of the 1034 gigabyte. Oh my god, really? I mean, if you want that, then you probably want these. I mean, these are Maxwell 4 gigabyte. It's GDDR5. They go for $160. I don't know what it can mine. Maybe Raven, but I don't know how much. It's Maxwell. It'll be like, give me all the power. And it's an old Quattro. You'd have to use an old GPU miner with that. Blah 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 blah. And this is stuff that I always think is hilarious to see. I'm not saying that you guys need to. This is like a one of a kind GPU in the world, right? I like it. I like this kind of stuff. I'd love to know how to do this, but I'm not sure if I'd be willing to destroy a GPU potentially in order to make this work, right? So modders added 12 gigabytes of memory to the Radeon 5600 XT, the only such GPU in the world. The modders performed, as we might have guessed, a Paulo Goem's team. They reached out about another project they were working on, and they had customized the 5600 XT. So the Radeon GPU can be tricked to support more frame buffer as well. They basically tricked the system to seeing it. The Radeon 5600 XT, we all know, is not a new card. I mean, you can buy them new, but they ain't new no more. This, a couple years old GPU. It's the 10 XLE CPU in there and 6 gigabytes of memory across 192-bit bus width. The card was only offered in this configuration, but it wasn't enough for the board partners to develop over 60 custom variants, which is a lot of Radeon cards. But you can see here, GDDR6, we got 12 gigabytes of memory. So basically what they ended up doing is, they did a bunch of failures. After failed attempts, they finally got a success. The card was correctly recognized by Windows and supports official drivers. This means that the team can test the card with games and benchmarking software as so to be done. Bam. So we've got a benchmarks here. We could see that this thing laid out some decent for what it was to what it is. So original 191. After they bumped the memory on it, 412. Now I'm guaranteeing you they optimized some of the power tables on there in order to get this to do it the way that they've done it. So definitely a BIOS mod. They played with every aspect of it and tuned it in the same fashion that we would do for mining whenever we're doing a BIOS mod for mining, like on the old RX 580 cards and stuff like that. Like mine are all BIOS modded. So one-click BIOS mod, and those things were, all the power tables were optimized for mining, and I was able to significantly drop the power on the overall card. Amazing stuff on an old GPU like that. Now, they're not as feasible to go run out and grab, but I still have one rig. It's not mining right now because it'd only be making in a total 8 cents a day to run it. Not worth the power for 8 cents. I mean, I get it. I'm not paying it. It's not costing me money to run, but at the same time, I'd just rather not deal with it. That's just my opinion on it. That's it. But if you guys ever wanted to check it out, they are, I believe they're Latino. I don't know if they're from Mexico or Spain. I just know that it's Latin, so they're speaking Spanish, and I don't understand it, but it's cool to watch them do their stuff. And all they're really doing is basically going from the 1 gigabyte modules to the newer 2 gigabyte modules. That's all they're doing. So pretty cool stuff. I'm glad they were able to make it work. Love to see, people playing around with the stuff, but unfortunately, it's not something that I would say feasible for people to go run out and do. I don't think it's worth it overall. If there was a way to be able to go back and desolder the 3090s, take the rear chips off of it, and solder on the 2 gigabytes chips onto the front of it, bro, that'd be such a better graphics card afterwards. Oh my lord! But I don't think that is. A lot of it's not feasible. A lot of those videos are faked. It would be worth to do dual mine on them. Yeah. Paulo Gomes is a well-known card modder. So if he's showing on his videos that he's doing it and he's got it running, I'm more to believe him because he's an engineer. Paulo Gomez is a pretty good engineer. So I'm not gonna 100% question the validity of it, especially since it's the Video Cards here is doing a report on this. Because of that, it shows a lot more validity behind everything. So it's not like just like this random Chinese video. He's done this with Galaxy cards before. I forget which Galaxy card he did it to last. That they were reporting on him doing that. I was like, oh, I bet you that would mine Ethereum Classic real good, because it was like a mine Ethereum Classic, or it was right before the whole Ethereum mining boom. Right, guys? So, I mean, that's how far back this guy goes with doing some top-notch modding, and he's good about modding with the memory. And I'm not sure if he goes through a bunch of cards and figures out which one he can do it to, and that's when he does his video. But you can tell that he's definitely doing it because you can see the heat marks on the GPU, because those GPUs can absorb a lot of heat. So the evidence is on the board, because they did it to a white Galaxy board. I don't think it wasn't a I don't think it was a Hall of Fame edition, but it was definitely a Galaxy card, and it was an all white PCB. It's like, maybe I can add 2 gigabyte to my GT 1030 then. It'd be one of those things of, what's the worst case scenario? It doesn't work. I mean, because like all the pinouts is going to be the same. Your capacity's changed. So it's just that, and then fiddling with BIOS. I'm not sure how to do that on NVIDIA side. AMD is a little bit better from what I understand. BIOS would have to see it. Yeah, in order for you to do anything, for sure. And then if for any of you Charlie Lee fans with that Lizzie Litecoin, the the silver of crypto. Litecoin creator Charlie Lee unveils price target for his next LTC bull run. Says that the altcoin has a ton of potential. Certainly does have a ton of potential, just because of the fact that, it's like I'm not worried about transaction speed, but the fees on Litecoin are lower, and it has had 100% uptime since the start. So Litecoin's been around for a hot minute. Nothing's gone away with it. Nothing has fundamentally changed with it. It runs a lot of Bitcoin code on there, so it's got a lot of the Bitcoin security built into it. It's running its own ASICs on there, so it's tapping into the most secure network that it's built for itself and never tried to be Bitcoin. So I can give Litecoin a lot more respect over this aspect. 11 and a half years, zero downtime. Bitcoin has actually had a downtime for a little bit, as there was a glitch in the code early on. So that's something that some people will make an argument of why Bitcoin's flawed. No, it was a first of its kind technology coming out. You can't expect, I don't care how good anybody is, that you're gonna submit code and have it run. You're gonna find bugs in the wild, and if it was only the one bug, I'll take it, especially when it was early on in its life cycle. Now at the point in time with the whole crypto space has been around since 2010. People now, if they can't get it, I don't give them as much slack if they have an issue in their code early on, because of the fact that it's not brand new technology that you're creating. You are merely adapting into another ecosystem. You should probably learn how to code better if you're going to have an issue, or you wait a while for have as many people as you can peer review that thing. Make sure there's no holes in the system before you go live. But what do I know? I don't know nothing. I'm a boob tuber. LTC to the moon, arise, Chunkin, arise, right? Right, for a top 13 coin. Oy. Rise, Chunkin, rise. It's only because I'm not friends with Charlie Lee, but I know him. He knows who I am, and I'm acquaintances with Samson Mao. So, yeah, and that whole group, they're all good friends. So, it looks like, if he's already kind of looking at the upside on here in the next bull run. He can see a 10% upside target of 0.025 LTC to the BTC worth. I would say he's looking at a target of about $360 on Litecoin, which the halving will be in the next within 100 days. So within 100 days, the halving for Litecoin is happening. Man, it's already been 4 years. I mined Litecoin during the last halving, and it was a wild move. And a lot of the mining, a lot of miners came off the network. So I'm not sure how this is going to work, because if a lot of miners start coming off the network, you have less ASICs keeping the hash rate up. I mean, I get it that there's, you got the new Litecoin miners that are coming out and stuff. I get it. But I don't think it's truly enough if too many people start coming off the network. I mean, during the last halvening, I'll tell you what, with an L3 plus plus, I went from I got my mining cut in half right after the halvening, and then about 3 weeks later, I was making 1.5 times more Litecoin because that many Litecoin miners turned off. And I bought a whole bunch of Litecoin miners. And I did not mine at a loss. And I was able to sell the Litecoin miners for exactly what I picked them up for. So, winning. Definite 10 plus years for Bitcoin been up, I believe. Yep. They've got like a 98, 99% uptime. So with the sweet ability of Bitcoin, but again, I give them a little credit. So I'm gonna be interested in whenever they start looking at whenever Litecoin starts really implementing the Mimblewimble extension blocks. And they get more area for being able to send confidential transactions. That would be really nice because then you can kind of use it as cash. But at the same time, there's not a lot of places that where I can send my stuff to. I mean, to another Litecoin holder, I can do that all day long with, right? It's if I need to do any of the convertibility, I can't just obfuscate the transaction a little bit to send it all over. So until it's implemented everywhere, that's why I don't really look at the whole Mimblewimble privacy aspect of Litecoin. They basically took that page. What coin project was that? Beam. They took Beam's implementation of that, which was pretty cool. That they worked alongside of that, knowing that the rumor is that Fluffy Pony with Monero helped out Beam get the Mimblewimble implementation correct, and he wasn't an official dev. He just helped get the coding correct with them, and because there's not too many high back-end privacy-orientated coders. There's only so many of them in the world. So it's not uncommon to see these people working on multiple different projects, even if it's indirectly. And that's, I believe that the way that I understood it was that Fluffy Pony helped them out with with a little bit of the implementation on this. And then, of course, we have Litecoin, Charlie Lee, implementing their Mimblewimble, and not Grin's Mimblewimble. It was Beam's Mimblewimble. And Charlie Lee and Ricardo, Fluffy Pony, are friends. So, there's your little circle of people all wrapped up into one. Like, dang, man, I think I ROI'd on those L3s like 3 or 4 times over. Oh, facts, dude. Facts. Oh my God, facts. Absolute facts. And we have some interesting updates with the SEC here. So SEC steps back from defining digital assets in new hedge fund rules. So the SEC and staff itself are considering the term digital assets, despite proposing a definition of them around 9 months ago. The U.S. Securities Regulation is holding off on ratifying the definition of the term digital assets in rules that govern reporting disclosures for hedge and private equity funds, despite proposing to do some 9 months ago. The SEC published amendments Form PF in a form that the SEC registers funds to complete to disclose basic information about their funds so that the regulator can assess potential systemic risk. The SEC originally included digital assets definitions in August of 2022 proposal for the changes. If it went into effect, it would have been the first time the SEC defined digital assets. Fast forward to today, the regulator says it's not going to go ahead with the definition, at least for now. They proposed adding the digital assets as a new term to the PF glossary of terms. The commission and staffs are continuing to consider this term and are adopting digital assets as a part of the rule at this time. The definition of the SEC put forward to digital assets was that it is issued or transferring using distributed ledger or blockchain technology, and includes other commonly used terms such as virtual currency, coins, and tokens. The SEC said that the August proposal that the information regarding a fund's digital assets is to be reported as an other category, which results in less robust form PF data for analysis. The proposed the definition in order to obtain separate and by extension more accurate reporting on such assets. However, the latest updates to the SEC's rulings, basically, they're holding off on it and they're making it hard. They're not trying to ban it, right? They're not banning it. They're just making it impossible to operate with it. They're basically making it, they're trying to discourage you from doing this. So, unfortunately, until, it's like, and that's where you're almost sitting there going, man, I kind of want to have John F. Kennedy Jr. as the next president here, because he's a little bit more pro crypto. So, would the administration be a little bit more lenient on the whole crypto industry and be more progressive into allowing the crypto industry to thrive in the United States versus trying to just push it off to the side, put it into a little box that stops it from really growing to its full potential. And I get it that there are a bunch of people who are absolutely do not want to compete with the digital assets, with the U.S. dollar. The dollar's already having issues. If everybody went to a gold standard or a Bitcoin standard, the U.S. would be broke overnight. All those dollars would come back to the U.S. faster than they can blink. And that's actually worse than a bank run, as every dollar that we have out in the wild comes back home. Then you're going to be like going, man, I wish I was growing my own food. Have me some chickens and some like a little farm instead of worrying about a flower garden. I should have been growing my veggies and all my own spices. I'm telling you guys, we're just getting into summer. You can still plant your stuff now. I'm just saying, things may, I'm not saying it's going to, it may get a little bumpy here. And you may want to have, your own little supply so you can survive. Just saying. So, but yeah, they're basically are trying to push this back into a box and make it hard to do the taxes on there. They're not going to give you as many tax breaks on it because of the fact that, you can't put this into a proper category of its own that gets regulated in a specific way. It gets put into this junk pile going, oh yeah, you can invest in that stuff, but it's not really worth it, guys. And unfortunately, it does have a negative impact on why bigger businesses just, they want to get involved, but they don't at the same time. And them not defining anything for rules on stuff really makes it hard too. And you could tell that a company is having an issue when they do this too. So Coinbase ceases issuing new Bitcoin-backed loans via the borrow service. So I wonder how much Bitcoin that they got, how much money they lost through their Bitcoin-backed loans. Like, you know, somebody sits there and they get a loan for $1 million, and while Bitcoin was at, you know, let's say $60,000 per coin, right? So let's say 50. You know, we'll make it nice and easy, right? So 15 Bitcoin is all it took to get $1 million loan. Fast forward to today, and you're looking at 45 Bitcoin. See how that works, right? I mean, it's like it's just napkin math at that point. You know, you're looking at, you know, doubling the amount of Bitcoin in order to hit that same mark now. And out of all of those loans, how many of them were shitcoin scams that declared bankruptcy or rug pulled and stuffed Coinbase going, oh, you got our Bitcoin, so later? And how much did that screw Coinbase over? You usually start seeing them doing stuff like this where they will cease loans to new loans. So the ones that are existing, nothing's going to change. So if you've already got a Coinbase Bitcoin loan through them, you're Gucci. You got no issues. It's for anybody who's trying to get more liquidity. You're not going to be able to go to Coinbase and try to borrow real world dollars for Bitcoin. So those days are over, at least for now. Now, I'm curious to see if this is them just tightening up their belt a little bit more because they don't want to have any more issues, or is this a sign that they're having a liquidity crisis with inside of Coinbase too? I don't know. I'm not gonna. Like, that's basically the direction of my mind goes. Is either they're having a company crisis, or they're just not seeing enough of a benefit, and they've gotten burned a couple of times, and they're like, "Yeah, we're done with this. All you people, pay your stuff off as normal. We're not doing this moving forward. It is just, we're not a bank." Right? So either they just got burned a couple of times and they're just like, yeah, we're not doing this no more. Or they're having a crisis on this side. Or it could be a third one. They've had so many of them burn them that now they have a crisis. So it's one of the three. Which one it's going to be, we don't know. Just know that you should never keep your crypto on an exchange. Never, never, never. That is how you get Rizzity wrecked. I'm just saying. Just saying. All right. And another government is going to be approving blockchain policies. So Nigeria's Federal Executive Council has approved a national policy on the blockchain to help the country develop a regulatory framework to govern the adoption of the technology. If you guys are unfamiliar, Africa is big with using Bitcoin. Why? It's not even a national currency. Why are they using Bitcoin? Because the national currency in their country is garbage. You got every corrupt politician running these individual little countries with inside of Africa as a whole, right? And each one of them is just, they're like having this race of who could be more corrupt. And some of the stuff is like family lineage being handed down to them. And it's like one of those things of, it would be nice to see them kind of not adopt democracy, but adopting in a way where the people have more of a political say in what happens to them as a country. It's like I believe that the people should be able to have input of things that are going to be done to govern them. Without that, you have a dictatorship, and that's basically how a lot of these tribes are. There are some of them that do give the people the voice of the people, but even Nigeria, they've got a prince. But it's nice to see that they've opened up Nigeria to have where people start having a little bit more say-so over the years. So that's a nice thing. And seeing that they're going to be trying to adopt in a lot of the Bitcoin technology, I think this is a net positive. I hope that they can get a few more of those areas underneath the Bitcoin standard. I think it'll be very beneficial to the people and the country as in a whole. Look at El Salvador. El Salvador, since Nayib Bukele got as a president, he has cleaned up the streets and put everybody onto a Bitcoin standard, and now the country is very prosperous. Very prosperous. So I think that's like what the world needs. Get tough on crime and have sound money. And, of course, having a border. You can't let every Tom, Dick, and Harry into your country. I mean, you can let them in on a vacation, but not to stay here permanently. We should be vetting a lot of that out. But again, that's on a whole different topic. But again, you do need to have sound money and a voice in the world, right? I mean, you got to be able to have your little piece of property and be able to have sovereignty over yourself. So this is a lot of stuff that I like to see in the world is whenever they, governments are listening to the people, doing things that would benefit the people, adopting in things that is good for the people and the country. It's like if you got a corrupt government, get the money out of the hands of the corrupt government as soon as you can. Or if the government's not corrupt and it's gone through periods of corruption, during a period of non-corruption, that should be the time where that country works on going to a Bitcoin standard, getting the corruption out of their hands. That's basically what El Salvador did whenever the Salvadorian peso collapsed, because the corrupt government was endlessly printing money to print their debts away. And then they ditched the El Salvadorian peso and went to U.S. dollars because they couldn't trust themselves. Now we're doing it. We're infinitely printing money. Now poorer nation states like El Salvador feel the wrath of it. If you're on a dollar standard, and it now takes you 8 times more dollars to sit there and purchase your goods that all have to be shipped in. You got to find a more resilient money that's not losing value faster than you can spend it. Fortunately, it's going on to a Bitcoin standard. Unfortunately for the U.S., the U.S. is gonna feel this at some point. And the way that they are trying to treat the Bitcoin mining here, guys, they are wanting to, Biden wants to sit there and put a 30% energy tax on the Bitcoin mining sector. If that happens, small little mining facilities like myself might get wiped out. There won't be enough profits on the table to keep the doors open without jacking up the electric rate higher than what you can do at your house. I mean, for some people, that's fine because then they don't have to deal with the heat. They don't have to deal with the noise. And, it is what it is. For other people, they're going to be like, just send me my stuff back home. It's not worth mining anywhere else if I can't get it for a little bit cheaper than what I'm already currently paying. It's like you're not going to want to send your stuff all over the place if there's no real net benefit from it overall, right? And I get it. I totally get it. So Hopefully that doesn't go through. I don't think they can legally go after an industry like that. The reason why I say it like that is because Bitcoin mining is basically data center production. So if you are going after high energy consumption, you also have to go after anybody that's using that level of electricity also. You cannot just not ban it, but regulate it to the point where it's no longer profitable to operate within the United States. That will basically push the ecosystem out of the US. Granted, that's probably what they really want because, they think that anything that's not energy usage that they approve of, they don't want you doing it because I don't get it. It really doesn't make any sense other than they want to push the electric car grid part of it, and they can't be competing with miners because if there's too much demand on the system, it will jack up the prices. And there's already, it's like they already have issues keeping up with electric demand, even in California. And nobody's really mining out in California. Not on their electric rates, unless they are sitting there doing off-grid mining. That will be the only way that works. Outside of that, I don't know anybody myself that is mining out in California, not at their electric rate. They are over 50 cents per kilowatt hour. That is unprofitable. So I don't reckon. And for somebody who is out in California paying 50 to 65 cents per kilowatt hour, I could sit there and charge them 20 cents a kilowatt hour, and they'll be very happy to pay that. Unfortunately, there's not going to be that many people that are going to be wanting to sit there and mine at 20 cents a kilowatt hour just so that, another facility, it doesn't even matter what hosting facility you're looking at. If it's in the United States and they take away that 30%, they put a 30% tax on it, that's going to put a 30% increase of cost on the customer base. So there is that. I'm not sure how that's going to work out, but yeah, hopefully that does not pass. Hopefully people push it to where it will also affect any high demand usage, which would pull Amazon out of the country, which means that if it does that, you'll have people like Amazon helping lobbying for us. Even though they're going to try to throw us under the bus going, why are you doing this to us when you should be doing it to them? Our infrastructure is the infrastructure you are using, not Bitcoin. And I think that's the aspect of where they're going to try to look at it from. And if that all goes through, mining in the United States, for the most part, commercially is dead. Because that's why you want to push to a commercial industry, is so that you can get the deductions. You can get the lower power rate because you're now a high energy usage. You now get rewarded for using more power. If they sit there and they give 30% taxation on it, that's gonna wreck it. There's no way any facility is gonna be able to stay open. The profit margin's not that big. The only places that you're going to see that's not, it would take the local government to sit there and in that particular state to make rulings legislation wise in state that would protect the mining industry. Then you're going to be looking at state per state. Montana is going to be protecting mining. Wyoming is going to be protecting it, in Utah. Those areas I know for sure. There may be more that will try to protect the mining industry, because I believe Colorado will come up on there. There are a few big mining facilities out there that I'm sure that state loves the taxes that are generated out of that facility. and they're not going to want to sit there and get rid of a facility over tax for and lose the taxes. I'm just saying. So it's going to be very interesting on what's going to be happening here moving forward, guys, with the whole mining industry in whole. So, does anybody have any comments or questions? We're coming up on that 1 hour mark, guys. I'm about to head up out of here. I went a little bit extra for you guys, just to make up for the me dealing with the tax people for a mess up they created. Oh my God, they created this problem. So, I got somebody that knows that I should be getting off of my stream right now. So, with that being said, does anybody have any comments or questions? Otherwise, smash that Lizzie like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, all that good stuff. Yo! Hope everybody has had a great day. Definitely put some FAs in the Chizity chat. That was taxing my patience. But hold on here. That was a knee slapper for you. So definitely everybody put some FAs in the Chizity chat. FAs all around, guys, because you guys are rated F for freaking awesome. Yo, that's right, guys. You all rock. And with that being said, I will see you guys tomorrow. Same time tomorrow. We'll be doing some game. I might get on a little earlier. Depends on what I got going on. I may get on a little earlier. But we will definitely be going on, doing a little gaming. So if you guys want a little kickback casual FA for Friday, guys, definitely hang out with me tomorrow. Love to have you there. With that being said, smash that Lizzie like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, join the Discord. It's free. The links are down below. Join the Patreon. Get into the pseudo hasher tier. Get some of that behind the scenes knowledge. Yo, and you'll get a little VIP access to the family mine. So if you guys want to mine with us, have your rigs hosted with us, you want to get into the pseudo hasher tier. Yo, be there or be square. And with that being said, peace out, stay savage, and may your watts be low and your hash be high. I'll see you on the next one.